Now, what could possibly make this folder the strongest, safest slip joint in the world? 2 words: spring strength. And to demonstrate, I need to put on my cut-resistant gloves and some safety goggles. Safety first, kids. Now, when we look at most non-locking slip-jointed pocket knives, the spring strength or tension is light to medium. Without much pressure, I can easily disengage and start folding up those blades. As a demonstration, a light spine thwack on most slip-jointed knives will easily overcome the strength and tension of that spring. While on the other hand, this pocket knife has the strongest, stiffest spring and tension I've ever seen on a slip joint. Case in point, with the same amount of pressure at the same angle, I cannot get this folder to overcome its spring and collapse on itself, which is quite impressive, giving it a level of strength, potential safety, because it's going to take more pressure for it to overcome that joint when you're using it under harsh or harder conditions than any other slip joint that I have personally ever tested here at the channel. Now, that doesn't mean that if you do a spine thwack, it won't disengage. If you smack harder and more in a straight down trajectory, I can get it to overcome its spring, but it takes a lot of effort. I cannot get over that spring with my finger and doing a pinch like that, whereas some other examples, easy, no problem, cake. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another blade review here at Gideonstactical. If you're new, I'm Aaron. Thanks for joining me. And the blade that we're looking at today is the BOKER Worldwide 2.0. And that's the whole idea behind this tool, giving those of you around the world with tighter knife restrictions a level of durability, performance, and potentially even trust in your tool that you don't always get with most other slip-jointed knives like your Swiss Army knife, which I would argue it definitely has a place and can perform, but it's pretty light duty. I mean, it takes nothing to overcome that. And other slip joints, like, they have their place, they're cool, but there's not any real traction capability for harder use. I wouldn't want to be using this on a construction site. This is for the office or a night out on the town. This may not quite be able to compete with a Cold Steel Recon 1 as triad lock, but it's going to give you some of those features and capabilities while still being able to be carried in many countries worldwide. Now, as we begin to unpack what makes this knife truly tick and what level of performance it really brings to the table, I do want to invite you guys to subscribe if you haven't yet. That way you can stay up to date on the weekly gear reviews that I post up here at the channel. And it is truly you, along with our regular sponsors, that help me to test out this gear and equipment to find out whether or not it makes sense for you in your systems. And I want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, which is Hardside Hydration and their Swig Rig systems. And having just gotten back from a multi-day backpacking trip in Wyoming, the Swig Rig system continues to show its value and worth as an essential piece of kit. Now, if you're not familiar with the Swig Rig system, they give you all the convenience of a water bladder with that hands-free hose, giving you quick access to your water, but they attach and adapt to your favorite rigid water bottle. In this case, my 48-ounce Nalgene has quick releases, lockout valves, and it allows you to now carry your water on the exterior of the bag, giving it more durability, easier to refill, and log where your water is, and also a lot easier to clean than those cumbersome water bladders that you may be familiar with. And the founders of this company, Dane and Dustin, have really gotten this concept dialed in that really gives a solution to a problem that many of us have had on trail for years, so much so that the majority of the guys on our recent backpacking trip were using Hardside Hydration systems and have dumped their cumbersome water bladders. So I'll have a link in the description box below over to the Hardside Hydration website, along with my exclusive 10% off promo code that you can apply towards your purchase, so that you can start exploring the different types of swig rigs and accessories that they offer, so you can really streamline the way that you carry and access water when you're on all of your adventures and stay hydrated the next time you go exploring. Now, as we look at the business end of the blade, from the handle scale point right there to the tip is 2.5 inches, which equals out to be 6.35 5 centimeters. I'm gonna do my best to do metric measurements, since I know most people watching this are probably interested because you live in an area that uses metric, because you guys also have sucky knife laws. But, and the stock thickness is going to be 0.11 or 2.8 millimeters thick on the stock thickness with a high flat grind, meaning that this thing is a little slicer. It really does slice surprisingly well. I was really pleased with the initial edge and its geometry into that thinner stock, so under an 1/8 inch thick, means that I was flying through cardboard, cordage, rope, rubber, the type of things that you're gonna come up mostly and want to use with this tool, but it was no slouch either when I was even making like a little feather stick or something like that. So with the way the blade is like designed and its dimensions, makes it a very good EDC, everyday carry use type of tool. Now it has a classic drop point, and there's even just a little bit of milling on the sides right there. So it's not really a swedge, but there is just slight milling on that like black wash coated blade. Now the blade steel is 440C at a Rockwell of 57 to 59. Now I've used 440C a lot, and for the type of blade and price point that we're going to talk a little bit later, totally makes sense. Just for some reference points, AUS 8 steel is usually Rockwell 56 to 58. 440C, from my experience, will tend to be more rust resistant, and at that Rockwell, it's going to hold its edge a little bit longer than, say, a Rat Model 1 and AUS 8, and it's about the same edge retention because of the similar Rockwell that your Spyderco's in 8CR13 MOV, because they do 57 to 59 on those. So you're going to probably find very similar edge retention, but again, better rust resistance. But if you look at blades in D2, those will hold their edge a little bit longer than this 440C because of their higher Rockwell, but again, won't be as rust resistant. I'm getting a little bit of spotting there on that D2 steel BOKER. So just for some reference in the blade steel. Now this I really appreciate, and I know many of you are going to as well, is the ambidextrous nature, including a pocket clip, of this tool. It has a really nice groove on either side there, giving you a good shoulder to pinch onto and open the tool rather quickly. A lot easier than just like an average nail nick, or even non-existent, like I know some slip joints do have. So you can even do it with gloves on, and then obviously close it up like that. And then in tandem with a pocket clip, you know, many slip joints like this Saunter from Buck, great little knife, no pocket clip. And this other BOKER in their Atlas series, only righty. Well, this one is ambi, so you can put it on either side, right or left. And because of those grooves, making it very easy. It has almost completely recessed screws. You know, they did build a little shelf there, so it's almost flat. Good loop over, matching black wash to the pocket clip. I really have zero complaints with this, so you can swap it right or left, or if you live in an area where you can't carry it, you know, in your pocket like that, you can just remove it. Good to go. And then you got a lanyard hole as well, so you could throw a lanyard on there if you needed to bury it in your pocket because you can't carry the pocket clip. But the pocket clip doesn't seem to cause any hot spots or issues on the ergos, and that just makes it for a much easier carry. Now, as we open it up again and deploy the blade like that, it's just awesome to see. Look at how big that spring, that bar, you know, it's not a lock back, but the tension bar is nice and large right there. It does have steel liners that are not milled. So on top of the green G10 currently, I don't know if they'll do other colors at some point, but those three things coming together make it a pretty, you know, like girthy little blade right there, filling out my hand. I wear large size gloves. We're looking at like 3.2 from the guard portion right here to the end inches, which equals out to be like, I think it's 8.7 centimeters, I think. Something like that. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do my best here. And overall, like from the very front point to the back is 3.6 inches overall. So that just barely means my pinky is not wanting to fall off. It actually has enough leverage right there. And then even in a reverse grip, it has a nice little shelf right there, and giving me enough traction that if I had to, I had the most confidence stabbing with this over any other slip joint I've ever used. Again, because of the strength of that spring and its tension. And I think I forgot that weight, which is like 3.07 ounces, which is like 87 grams. So it's a beefy little tool for how compact it is. So now that we've seen this in action, what is it going to cost to actually get you into this tool if you feel like it's fitting the bill and checking the boxes for you? Well, this is going for US dollars about 42 US dollars currently. And when you look at the materials, it's pretty, comparable, kind of middle of the road to a lot of other tools. That's about the same cost as the D2 crossbar BOKER that we've previously reviewed. That is quite impressive. It reminds me of some Kershaws that are like in D2 made in China, like the Worldwide 2.0. And then if we look at some slip joints, the BOKER Atlas in 12C27 is about 30 last I checked. And then I don't have a lot of slip joints. Obviously I don't really need them, but the Buck Saunter with 154 cm made in the US is about 120. So just give me some perspective there. I think it's kind of middle of the road. I will have links in the description box below if you are interested in this model, so you can check out to the affiliate networks I partner with. I do appreciate BOKER hooking me up with this model. I wanted to test it for you guys that live overseas who are trying to find durable options but still fall within legal realms. I was like, this looks pretty dope. And as soon as I got it, I was like, man, I'm kind of blown away by it. And for me personally, of the very limited slip joints that I own, I would say that if I was going to a place that required these dimensions and a non-locking tool, this is top of the list for me currently in the collection and of those I have tested. But I look forward to hearing from you guys. What's your thought on the Worldwide 2.0, particularly if you own one? How has it been performing for you? I always appreciate your guys' feedback, sharing your thoughts on videos. And until next time, I do invite you to, again, check out the other video and to subscribe. And always remember to stay equipped, stay prepared. I'll see you out there.